Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
I'll be darned. I got to stop and think about this one for a second, and you might want to help me. In 1990, the IRS seized Willie Nelson's bank accounts and real estate holdings for a $16 million tax debt. But Al Sharpton owes in excess still $19 million in taxes. Somebody please explain to me white privilege again? Here comes Kate Smith, and God Bless America, followed by a patriot to call in with our Pledge of Allegiance. Come on a Thursday. Good morning, good morning. And a good morning to you. Yeah. White privilege. Al Sharpton. Oh, please don't get me started. Good morning to you with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with a very safe, clean environment and, of course, the best in tires. And a big thank you to our friends at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. And Greystone Crossing Senior Living at 1221 21st Street in Hayburn. Seniors living the good life with friends. Right now, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning to you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very well done, Randy, and don't wait till the end of the hour to call. I always have to rush you through, and I don't mean to, so call back later on. We'd appreciate hearing from you. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right, buddy. Time for the weather, and I'm a little bit surprised about the weather. I thought we were going to have a lot of sunshine, and boy, it's pretty cloudy out there. Weather being brought to you by K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 West of Hayburn. Oh, Roger and the rest of the folks over there, they've got all the water lines and rototillers, all your lawn and garden equipment. I mean, they've got everything. The best tools and equipment for long and short-term rental right there at K&R Rental on the Burley-Paul Highway. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Cooler temperatures for today, but of course back up into the 90s for the weekend. Here's a look at your weather forecast. Partly to mostly sunny skies by the time we hit the afternoon. High of 83, a little bit of a breeze out of the west at about 10 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly clear skies with a low of 55. Tomorrow, sunny and 88. Clear and 57 for Friday night. By the time we hit Saturday, going to be back up into the 90s. Slight chance of rain showers and thunderstorms for Saturday night. Mostly cloudy with a low of 56. Sunday, 20% chance of showers in the afternoon, cooling down to about 76. And then for Monday, slight chance of rain showers and a high of only 62. That's look at your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Wow. I mean, there's a drop in the bucket right there. Hey, the weather brought to you by K&R Rental. And if you're not sure what you need to finish some kind of a project or a construction project, give Roger a call at 678-3122. K&R Rental on the Burley-Paul Highway. You stop in and see them today. Also want to urge everybody, as we do every morning at this time, caller, I'll be right there, I promise, for all your heating, cooling, and electrical needs. Don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric. You know, That business has been in business for almost 7 decades, serving you and your businesses, your private property, everything with the best of heating, cooling, and electrical needs. And believe me, with the temperatures getting up there in the 90s, turn on the great big air conditioner. Turn it on and sit back and cool yourself. Better need some new filters. They've got them at Ramsey Heating and Electric, 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, 678-0459, where they provide warm winters and cool summers at Ramsey Heating and Electric. Caller, thank you very much. You're on the air.
Well, thank you, Seb. You know, Nancy Pelosi thinks she's queen. She really does. But she is just merely the queen of mean. And I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want her trying to do something to me because she is a mean SOB. She just, I think everybody in Washington is scared of her.
Well, I was surprised as to what your language was, but I accept it. I believe in it, and I find her to be one of the most detestable and low-life politicians that ever had an assumption of leadership in this country. To say that she is the Speaker of the House, to say that she is leading, if you will, the Democratic Party, is to absolutely say nothing, because she is nothing, and the Democrats are nothing. They're not doing or saying anything to help us as Americans. They're not doing anything to stop all this absolute destruction of America, all because of the word hate. They hate Donald Trump. They hate the GOP. They hate us, and I have no use for them.
She is just, like I said, she's the queen of mean.
Well,
that's not exaggeration.
She's a despicable old lady that absolutely is way, way past her time, and I have nothing but bad things to say about her, so in that case, with nothing more to say than bad things, I better not say anything at all.
You're a gentleman and a scholar.
God bless you, man. Thanks, Keith. Always good to hear from you. Thank you much. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Somebody call me and tell me one Democrat in leadership. Schumer? No. Pelosi? No. Schiff? No. Has anybody said, enough of this violence, let's pull together as a nation and get this thing settled? No. They want this mess enhanced. They think it's helping them. But later on this morning, a gentleman that has been spot on, hold on, caller, I'll be right there, Dr. Gerard Lamero is going to tell about, and I think lay it out as to how this stupidity and insanity by the Democrats is going to be the end of their party, and one can only hope. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't forget Dino Septic Service, septic tank pumping and backhoe services, water and sewer lines installed, septic inspections, and they got a new camera that goes down into the hole and goes along. I don't know if it makes that noise exactly, but it goes along and it finds the problem area. You bet it surveys the problems. Check it out, Dino's Septic Service. And the number to call, 436-6526 or 678-1638. See if their camera does go, I don't know. And give them a call. Fast, fair, friendly service, Dino's Septic Service, serving you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. I think everybody's pretty well aware that we've got a revolution going on there. And what we need to do is have a counter-revolution. And I'm not the one meaning the ones that go out with guns. We have got to hammer our politicians and let these people know that their future is in our hands.
You know, Tony, I'm beyond frustrated. When you say this tonight and blatantly, the BLM, Black Lives Matter, I've got other words that I can associate with the initials, but the Black Lives Matter are saying tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern Time that they are going to tear down the Emancipation Shrine of Lincoln, and President Trump has called out hundreds of National Guard members to say, no, you're not either. Now, here's my thinking, and you may not agree. I really don't care if anybody agrees with me or not. I think that it is past time. It is past time to bloody some noses, and some of these people that are in the membership of the slime trying to hurt, denigrate, and destroy America need to get hurt to send a message to the rest of them like a good spanking that their activities are wrong.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, cops' lives matter. I'm not worried about black lives matter.
That's right.
There's enough damage right now that we need the police.
We need the police.
The second thing I think we need to do, whether we like it or not, and I was talking about this yesterday, about having get-togethers with hundreds of people at our local park and start making noise out there. Let's get something going. You're not going to get anything done from the safety of your living room.
No, that's true. And, Tony, I owe you an apology because I should have jumped on this and helped you and aided and abetted your idea and helped assist it to get going. I have been just absolutely, from the top down, busy as a beaver, and I just haven't had a lot of extra time. But I promise you that if you'll call me, like maybe tomorrow in the morning, I'll be here in my office. We'll talk about that a little bit more. How's that?
Well, you've got your hands full doing what you're trying to do to get people motivated to do something. You know, how much more can the people expect you to do?
I don't know, but it was kind of funny the other day. I was talking to somebody, and they said, well, all you do is just sit there on the radio for 3 hours, and then you're done. And I said, well, let me tell you something, Gomer. I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I start putting together all these news stories, and I don't quit until about 4 or 5 in the afternoon. I said, how many hours a day do you work? And that kind of shut him up a little bit. Tony, God bless you, man.
That you're in is a 24-hour job, and I bet you got your mind going even when you're sleeping.
That's why I don't get a lot of sleep. Thank you. God bless you and Mary. Take care. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Okay, so I will call you tomorrow.
I'll look forward to it. Hey, caller, I'll be right with you. Stand by. Doug Martin, our dear friend, has got his business, Doug's Alternator and Starter Repair, for sale. Yes, it is for sale. I don't care where you live within the sound of my voice. Write this number down and call. It's a great business opportunity for you. It's a turnkey business. Everything's all set to go. Hands you the key, and it's yours. Well, you got to pay for it, too. 635 21st Street in Heyburn. The number to call, 878-4991. And Doug will train the buyer of the business of rebuilding starters and alternators. Hey, check it out, 878-4991. Doug's Alternator and Starter Repair in Heyburn for sale. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
You know what privilege is? When opportunity meets preparation. And we make our own privilege, and it doesn't matter what color you are. But it's a terrible shame when lies are perpetuated by the media to, of course we know why. But it's a terrible shame because the damage it does to people who either are young or people that are on the fence or don't know any better. And you'd like to think that we are surrounded by people who are upright and mobile and know better.
Randy,
you're old enough to know better.
Randy, let me ask you a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you see on television yesterday, and I was shocked. I mean, I absolutely, caller number 2, I'll be right there, I promise, stand by. I was shocked when Martha McCallum on her news program was visiting with a gentleman, and I'm using that term very loosely, Hawk Newsom, with the Black Lives Matter, and he blatantly came out and said, if we don't get what we want, we will burn down America. I mean, I'm paraphrasing the exact words, but I'm telling you the truth. It is absolutely a blatant statement saying, we're going to take what you got, Whitey, and if you don't like it, that's tough.
Well, see, this is the thing. See, if we're not allowed to defend it ourselves, bear arms and defend, not attack, and so then they will come in and stop us from defending our property and our lives. See, this is the thing. If somebody was to go to Seattle and go up there, whether or not it was the Hells Angels and the Mongols, and there was a confrontation, then they would have to go in and stop it, because they wouldn't want to stop Black Lives Matter or Antifa. They would go in there to stop the Hells Angels and the Mongols. Whether or not it's true or not, I don't care. But you see, then it would have to come to a head.
Yep.
And the mayor of Seattle and, and the governor of Washington would have to come face to face with the reality of it. But you see, it's happening across our nation, and
it's gone to the point. I've got to expedite this because I've got other calls. But, Randy, it's gone to the point now where I'm really afraid that we're past the tipping point of stopping this. It should have been stopped initially from the get-go, but now we've got other problems. In Madison, Wisconsin, my former home state, they've got major problems back there. They're going to have another major problem tonight in D.C. It's got to stop, and I'll go back and say what I said a minute ago. If somebody's offended by it, I don't care. Some people have got to get bloody noses to realize this is not the thing to do.
Exactly. It's got to end, and these polls that say, it's about getting rid of Trump. So the polls that say he's behind 14 points, like you say, I don't know where that comes from, and I don't know how anybody believes it, but there's a guy on later in the afternoon on this station, Ben Shapiro, for some reason does. But Dr. Lamero doesn't.
You wait till 10:30 this morning. He's going to really cover a lot of this, and he's spot on normally with all of his predictions. Randy, God bless you. Thank you for your call.
I have more faith in Dr. Lamero than maybe Ben.
I have a tendency to totally agree with you. Thank you very much. I've got to get this in. Sean, over at the station, may I please have the word for the Silver State Stampede, and then we'll take our next call.
Nevada's oldest rodeo, the Silver State Stampede, roars into the Elko County Fairgrounds July 10, 11, and 12. This PRCA-sanctioned rodeo brings you the thrill of pro riders going head-to-head in one of the world's toughest sports, rodeo. The action kicks off Friday evening with a delicious tri-tip dinner for just $10. Old West bronc riding, mutton busting, PRCA rodeo action, and the always popular Ring of Fear. Dance the night away to the music of the Moonshine Outlaws. And on Saturday, show your support with Tough Enough to Wear Pink. Round out the weekend with Family Day Sunday evening. The best family entertainment this side of the Rio Grande. The Silver State Stampede, July 10, 11, and 12 at the Elko County Fairgrounds. The Silver State Stampede will be following all of the Nevada governor's directives, Nevada United Roadmap to Recovery Plan, as well as the CDC guidelines. The safety of everyone is our top priority.
Thank you very much. And real quick, I want to remind you, too, about Denny's Restaurant. Oh, my, at 611 North Overland in Burley, America's Diner. We had a fantastic time down there last Thursday for Lunch Bunch. It was our first Lunch Bunch in months, and they treated us royally. Thomas, Michelle, the whole staff, God bless all of them. Great people to work with, great people serving you with the most delicious of food off a menu, breakfast, lunch, dinner, anytime, all the time with the delicious desserts. Holy moly, it's true. It's America's Diner. 611 North Overland in Burley. You stop in with your family and friends today and enjoy great eating at Denny's Restaurant. Caller, I am so sorry. Thank you very much. Go ahead, please.
Good morning. You're making me hungry. Denny's is a great place to eat. And but Zeb, the prime function of government is protection of life and property. I mean, at all levels, whether it's local, state, federal, it's protection of life and property. And that's not taking place.
That's right.
And unfortunately, President Trump is trying to do something, but this weak-kneed, soft-bellied Republicans and others are just letting the country be torn apart.
Adrian, let me ask you, Adrian, hang on a second. Have you, and please tell me if you have, so I will stand corrected, but have you heard Crapo or Risch or Simpson or Fulcher really stand out in the crowd and issue condemnations about what's going on?
Well, no, and if they did, they wouldn't get any coverage. Our local paper wouldn't cover it, I'm sure. That's the problem. And the national media is totally in the tank for all of this anarchy, and that's what it is. It's anarchy to destroy this country, destroy the culture, destroy the history of this country, and our education system is on full display because, like I've said before, I've got a professor friend at Idaho University. These kids coming in here, they have no comprehension of what made this country great, like you and I had when we grew up. And it's really sad. And to this point in time, we really are at a tipping point, and maybe we've gone on. Between the unemployment and everything else that's going on, the bottom line is that there's been globalists for the last century who have tried to destroy this country one way or another. And when they've got the Marxist media, the New York Times, CNN, and Washington Post, and so forth, all on the same page with the liberal Democrats, socialist Democrats, the Bernie Sanders, and so forth, that it's really going to be a tough time. But we've got to hold our elected officials' feet to the fire, uphold the Constitution. The governor has been violating our First Amendment rights. I still can't go back to church. Just found out last night. We're not going to have church again this week.
Well, wait a minute. Wait, just a minute. Hang on just a second, Adrian, please. I'm totally on your side. And there reaches a point, and I'm going to come out and say this, and I'll take heat for it, but I don't care. There comes to a point where you have to sit down as a church body and say, no, we are not going to honor what the governor is saying. We're going to have church services. I don't care what church it is. I don't care if it's Methodist or if it's Mormon or if it's Lutheran or if it's Catholic. No, I'll tell you what, if you'll read in the Bible, Acts 5, verse 29, it says, we must obey God rather than any human authority. And that's where I'm at, Adrian.
Well, me too. I totally agree with you, Zeb. And the other thing is the U.S. Constitution takes precedent over all of these executive decrees. I don't care if the Attorney General and a battery of nincompoop lawyers come out and say, well, the governor's in his right to have all these decrees. I'm saying no. The U.S. Constitution takes place. And I strongly believe the U.S. Constitution was divinely inspired. It's given more freedom. I mean, this country is the freest country in the world. Millions of people want to come here, and yet we've got our education system that tells everybody, go out and loot and burn it down because we're racist.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, but we've got to take a stand, and we've got to hold our elected officials' feet to the fire to uphold the U.S. Constitution. And I totally agree. Our allegiance is to Jesus Christ, and he was the author of liberty. As we come close to the Independence Day, they celebrated the 4th of July as a religious holiday because Jesus Christ is the author of liberty. And, of course, that's got to go, and that's why they are saying now, destroy the churches, destroy Christianity.
I've got to run, Adrian. I've got a spot I got to do right at the bottom of the hour. But thank you, and you and I are on the same page of this. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Thank you.
You have a great day. Keep up the fight. The truth will ultimately prevail where pains is taken to bring it to light.
Absolutely.
George Washington.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Caller, I'll be right there in a minute. I got to get this on, and I want to really highlight the fact that the 2020 4th of July activities and celebration in Rupert is going on, and I'm so proud that they said, yes, we're going to do this. That is great. With the theme Rockin' in the USA with Grand Marshals Charlie and Lori Creason. Main sponsor is PMT. Customer Appreciation Luncheon's going to be on Monday, June 29th, and on Tuesday morning early, Early, 6 a.m. at the Square in Rupert, they're going to have the Christmas lighting breakfast, and then they start with all the patriotic music in the park and fireworks at night. Wednesday, of course, they're going to have more patriotic programs. Thursday, July 2nd, the 3rd annual mutton bustin' at the fairgrounds. Friday, the Firecracker 500 lawnmower race. I wish that was a part of that. Sounds like fun. And then Saturday, 4th of July, the huge, really big 4th of July parade. All of this at Rupert's 4th of July celebration for 2020. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Zeb, I disagree with you. What you're advocating is people can go around and they have the right to expose other people and make them sick, and society has to have rules. You can't, you're advocating the same thing as speed limits don't count. You can drive as fast as you want. You can set fires and dry forests for campfires.
Wait, whoa, partner. Wait a minute.
Anything you want to do.
Wait a minute. What are you saying?
You don't have all these rules in the Constitution, but it's called common sense.
Wait a minute. Whoa. What are you talking about? I'm not advocating for rules and regulatory means. Why are you saying that? And why did you have the guts to call initially, but not the guts to stay on the line and talk to me about this? I mean, don't do that. I mean, if you're going to criticize me, at least have the decency and the moral courage to stay on the line and arbitrate with me. Don't hang up. That's the rudest form of being an idiot, I think, is hanging up on somebody when we're trying to have a conversation. I don't like that, and I won't adhere to that. I'm saying that when it comes to churches not being allowed to worship and other businesses are open, and I maintain that churches should be open. They can adhere to the same bylaws, if you will, and rules and regulatory means of masks and social distancing. Our church did. I don't know why others can't. I'm saying that it's time, and I go along with what I said, Acts 5, verse 29 in the Bible. We must obey God rather than any human authority. You don't like that, evidently. And that's why you didn't have the nerve to stay on the line and talk to me. This is a talk show, not one-sided, it's both sides. But when you make an accusation like that I'm for mayhem and no laws, that's idiocy, because I absolutely am in support of our police, in support of our laws. Look what's happening all across the country. And I said earlier this morning, evidently you didn't hear this, that there's going to have to be some bloody noses and some spankings, quote unquote, to restore law and order in our major cities. Gee whiz. Don't call and make accusatory remarks and then hang up. That is very distasteful. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I just don't understand why people do that. Get on the air, and then all of a sudden make a statement and then run and hide by hanging up. Please. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know something else that just really was sad, so sad yesterday? That in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where President Trump had just spoken not too many days prior, the semi-pro soccer team there said they will no longer play the national anthem before games because, in their assertion, the national anthem is racist and divisive. The Tulsa, Oklahoma semi-pro soccer team. So they said that the third verse, of which we very seldom ever hear and or sing, is very divisive and racist. And in a few moments after I take this next call, we will go through and very slowly read the third verse. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
You know, an antagonist has nothing else to do, apparently, than to try to disrupt somebody else who is doing something that he believes to be right and true. And see, antagonism is what poor, pitiful people do because they can't seem to get out and make something happen on their own. The reason why this country continues to run is because of free market capitalists and free market capitalism. whatever color you might be. In this community here in Minnecash, across southern Idaho, there's plenty of Hispanic business people who I love and admire and respect. And if there were black business people and they paid their bills and did their, everything like everybody else, I would respect them too. But there aren't so many around here. There aren't any. But you see, we are accused of being prejudiced when we've never done anything in the sort. And it's a shame. And then when somebody calls you up and they are gutless, it's a shame, ain't it?
I'm not going to apologize for losing my temper because I don't believe in apologizing for speaking the truth. If you want to have a conversation with me, you can have a conversation with me, but don't accuse me of something and or being a part of something without giving me a chance at a rebuttal so we can have a good conversation and possibly end on a joint note. But when somebody makes a statement like that, that tees me off. And I'm going to say this. There is no way that I can fathom that you can regulate and jurisdict that churches should not have been open when at the same time you're allowing these mass gatherings of Black Lives Matter and Antifa destroying and burning, and there's no law enforcement to stop them when at church, my church, and I'm sure maybe yours too, they've adopted philosophies of we can't sit anywhere closer than 6 feet apart and we have to wear masks and everything else. My goodness, a church is probably the safest place to go.
Well, see, this is the thing, and it's all a bunch of BS, but see, you can't sing, you can't talk, because you're going to be spreading something, which is, I go to places where nobody cares, and they're all just doing what they do, and they're not worried about it, they're not wearing masks, they're not being disrespectful, they're not, they're not worrying about gathering in groups. You might stand close to somebody and then you go on. I could tell you like I've said in the past, I went to a funeral for my cousin's grandson, which was a terrible thing, and everybody stood in the foyer and they were all gathering like normal. I went to a nice upscale it was a restaurant grill bar, and people were gathering together normal. Mm-hmm. And see, this is what people want to do, and sitting 6 feet apart at church is not normal.
But we're doing it, and nobody, and I mean this when I say this, nobody, I don't care if it's the governor, I don't care if it's the president, I don't care who it is, has the right to infringe on my religion. And I'll go back to what I said a few minutes ago. I'd much rather obey God than I would any human authority. Does that make it clear? How many times do I have to say it? I'm not going to back up.
You can't. And see, that's the thing. You run the risk of, when you don't obey God, you run the risk of way more repercussions than you do not obeying some earthly.
Randy, this virus, okay, let's just cut to the chase. This virus is not going to go away. Okay, bingo. Viruses do not go away. They all of a sudden don't pack their suitcases and leave Dodge City. They're here. We're going to have to learn to, here's an interesting thought. We're going to have to learn to live with it. Hopefully until medical science comes up with some kind of a vaccination program to which it will be greatly minimized. But it's going to be here. Are we going to withdraw? Are we going to dig a hole and get ready to pull the rock over us just in fear? I can't live like that, and I won't live like that.
No, we can't. And see, the thing of it is when we lower the curve, all we're doing is prolonging the problem. See, we need to get it over with, and letting the kids go back to school is a perfect way to get this thing done. And so we could go on about this.
Well, we could go on and on.
America.
Well, we're gonna.
There is no other America.
That's right. We cannot destroy what we've spent spent almost 250 plus years trying to build. And later this morning, I'm going to be talking exactly about school openings with Debbie Critchfield again on the Cassia County School Days. Randy, I do, and I mean this, I appreciate your call, because even if we've arbitrated different opinions, we're friends and we can come up with common ground. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, if you get offended by debate, then I guess you got to go home and go in your mom's basement and cry in the corner, brother. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Randy. Don't forget Barry Equipment and Rental, sales, service, and parts, 159 West Highway 30 in Burley, 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin, with Eli and the crew in the Nampa location. Man, they've got it all. I'm telling you, they've got all the equipment for the jobs of lifting and digging and pushing and carrying and leveling and grading. Oh, yeah, they got the equipment. Great big brand new inventory for this year with all the Bobcats and all the trenchers and the scissor lifts and the Doosan wheel loaders and excavators. Wonderful financing programs and great rental programs. Check it out at Barry Equipment and Rental, sales, service, and parts in Burley, Twin Falls, and Nampa. When you, and everybody should, know the national anthem and the verbiage that supposedly these great intellects with the Tulsa, Oklahoma semi-pro soccer team, they said that they no longer will play the national anthem before games because the national anthem is racist and divisive. Really? Francis Scott Key stood at the rail of a ship and wrote our words to the Star-Spangled Banner. I'm going to read verse 3 for you right now. And where is that band who so vauntingly swore that the havoc of war and the battle's confusion, a home and a country should leave us no more? Their blood has washed out their foul footsteps' pollution. No refuge could save the hireling and slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. And the star-spangled banner in triumph doth wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. All that whole phrase means is that our country, our flag, is a beacon of hope for everybody. Everybody. It has nothing to do with taking on slaves or promoting slavery. Actually, it absolutely is lifting the dark spots of life and the gloom of the grave and giving everybody hope. And then these knotheads with this Tulsa, Oklahoma semi-pro soccer team want to take away the national anthem because they say, in their omnipotent, educated theory, it's racist and divisive. How much more, folks? How much more? Tonight, maybe a battle looms between the slime and our National Guard in trying to keep up and save the Emancipation Statue with Lincoln. How many absolute slime movements have there been in this country? In Wisconsin last night, absolute devastation, burning, beatings, and throwing statues in Lake Mendota. Idiocy. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Well, you have touched on the streams of my heart. I am so in love with the United States of America and the wonderful life we have for those of us who live in this country. And we should just pound our breasts with happiness that we are so fortunate, because look around this globe. We are the rare breed. And when somebody starts to act like they don't think they've had a fair share, they haven't tried.
You know, right there, stop, please, caller, because you just hit the nail on the head. when they don't feel they have their fair share, maybe they have not tried. Maybe they haven't put their best foot forward. Maybe they didn't have the best work ethic to propel their body and soul through a good education program to achieve what they wanted. You've hit it right on the head.
Well, and I am very patriotic. There was not a generation in my family after they came to the United States from England that didn't serve in the military to preserve this country.
Absolutely.
And they were happy to do it. And now I have nephews and nieces that are serving because they grew up with this idea. If we the people, don't preserve this country, we don't deserve it.
You know, let me ask you real quick, caller. I've got to get a weather forecast on here, but I said earlier this morning, and I'm going to stand behind what I say on this program, that it is past time to go after the slime and let them know they are going to get a good spanking. You can take and interpret that any way you want to if they keep up with this movement of destruction. It's got to stop. America and our values are hanging in the balance.
Well, and you're right. And I think there's a weak thread holding the people back. And if we don't stand up and protect this wonderful land that we have, we deserve losing it.
I agree. It's so nice to hear from you. Thank you so much for your call this morning. Thank you. God bless.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. I'll do the weather and then take some more calls. And the weather brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And, I got to wait a minute. I got to say something here. It's just eating on me, okay? I get up every morning and put this program on the air with all this information that is verified 2 and 3 times to make sure that we give you true statements. And you know who I am. I say my name, it's on the air, etc., etc. And the cowardice, the absolute cowardice of somebody to call and rail against me and then hang up without any arbitration or difference of opinion to be sought with 2 ways on the conversation, that is total cowardice, and I'm not going to back down on that. There, I feel better. Right now, I want to remind you our weather brought to you by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids and the lovely Dr. Christine Pickup and her staff, always serving you and your hearing health. They are right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room, and the number to call is establish a hearing screening appointment. That's hard to say fast. 312-0957. Let me say that again. 312-0957. The very best for your hearing health at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Cooler temperatures for today, but of course back up into the 90s for the weekend. Here's a look at your weather forecast. Partly to mostly sunny skies by the time we hit the afternoon, high of 83. A little bit of a breeze out of the west at about 10 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly clear skies with a low of 55. Tomorrow, sunny and 88. Clear and 57 for Friday night. By the time we hit Saturday, going to be back up into the 90s. Slight chance of rain showers and thunderstorms for Saturday night. Mostly cloudy with a low of 56. Sunday, 20% chance of showers in the afternoon, cooling down to about 76. And then for Monday, slight chance of rain showers and a high of only 62. That's a look at your weather for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. And the weather, of course, always brought to us this first hour by Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And boy, they've helped me. They can help you. Absolutely professional people providing expert diagnostic testing combined with the best technology to provide better hearing for you. Call them, 312-0957, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Did you see the video back in Madison, Wisconsin? I went to school there. I went to college there for a while. And the whole city is just absolutely comprised of morons right now that are with Black Lives Matter and Antifa trying to take things over and disrupt and destroy everything. One guy, one black activist with Black Lives Matter, picks up a baseball bat and walks into this restaurant and starts threatening to hit and hurt everyone. I mean, this has got completely out of hand. Our lives, our welfare, our families are all at stake here. And then with the comment on Martha McCallum's program last night saying, we're going to burn everything till we get our way, till they get their way, that's nothing but mob rule and mob mentality. They don't deserve any correspondence of sitting down. They need to be thwarted and put down. This is insane. I mean, people are getting hurt. People are losing their businesses. And thank goodness the city of Seattle, people up there near this idiot zone, are going and getting together for a class action lawsuit against the city management, if they had any, and the city mayor, of which they wish they had one, and her stupidity for allowing this mess to take place in Seattle. I hope the lawsuit goes through. I certainly hope that they sue this mayor into oblivion. Calls are welcome. 436-2244. 1-866-927-4587. Caller, go ahead, please. You're on the air.
You know, Zeb, we are like sheep in a way. A lot of us are, and we follow. But if we don't have leaders, we're going to go over the cliff. Now, a good example of this, why do people listen to MSNBC, CNBC, and terrible CNN? Because it's sensationalism. That's what they want to hear. They don't want to hear what's really going on or what people are trying to do to fix this nation. They just want to listen to somebody who seems to be their friend.
You know,
but is not.
No, you know, what you're saying makes a lot of sense because the likes of, and this man is so detestable on his television program that to watch 5 minutes of Don Lemon on CNN is 5 minutes that you've wasted in your life. The man is pathetic. He is a racist. He's a race hater. And then you've got Chris Cuomo, the brother to the governor of New York, that absolutely has the combined IQ of a bicycle spoke. And you're right. The sensationalism is what people watch for instead of common sense on what's really going on.
That's true. You know, I used to have the utmost respect for Joe Scarborough. He left the Congress because they were just going the wrong way. And he made it very clear that this is not right.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you talking about Joe Scarborough from... Hold a minute, Keith. Are you talking about Joe Scarborough from MSNBC?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good. I just wanted to clarify. Right.
Yeah, but he did leave Congress because of their idiocy.
Well, he married...
the guy that's on Fox.
Yeah, he married, hang on a second, Joe Scarborough married Mika Brzezinski, which, of course, she's as liberal can be spelled. And the whole schematic of CNN and MSNBC in general is one of absolute hate against conservatism and the Trump administration. And they will alter and twist the truth just to go after conservatives and Trump.
I just can't think of the words that describe these kind of people who are so steeped in their hatred for America.
Yeah.
And they don't go anywhere because there is no other where they can go that they can get away with this.
I agree with you. Keith, I got to run. I got to get one more commercial in before we go to the news. I thank you very much. Sean, over at the studio, could I have another good word for the Silver State Stampede?
The thunder of hooves, the thrill of the crowd, family entertainment at its best when the Silver State Stampede roars into Elko July 10, 11, and 12 at the Elko County Fairgrounds. Bring the family and enjoy 3 big days of PRCA rodeo action, along with the Old West bronc riding, mini bull riding, the Copper Riders, mutton busting, the world-famous Ring of Fear, and dance the night away to the music of the Moonshine Outlaws. Get your advance tickets today at J.M. Capriola Company, IFA, the Boot Barn, Roy's, and the Elko Chamber of Commerce. The best in the West is waiting for you at the 2020 Silver State Stampede, July 10, 11, and 12. Don't miss it. For more information, visit us at silverstatestampede.com. Silver State Stampede will be following all of the Nevada Governor's directives, Nevada United Roadmap to Recovery Plan, as well as the CDC guidelines. The safety of everyone is our top priority.
Thank you very much. Right now, we're going to take about 7 minutes and turn it over to the big boys with CVS. Let them come in and throw everything down the drain. We'll be back. We'll be back in about 7 minutes. Oh, we keep rolling along on a Thursday, June 25th. And I think the thing that needs to be said right here on June 25th is, where did spring go? Holy smokes, here we're talking just days away from the 4th of July. Holy mackerel. Welcome back to Zeb at the Ranch, and of course our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with safe, clean environment, and of course the best in tires. And our thanks also to Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. And our friends at Greystone Crossing Senior Living at 1221 21st Street in Hayburn. Seniors living the good life with friends. Also want to remind you, too, about our friends at Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert. Joel Heward, I've known him for a long, long time. A very conscientious, kind man with his family and staff, serving you and your family when there's the passing of a loved one. Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert. Always, of course, providing the families they serve with the best possible support and comfort, and always upholding the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. I urge you to call the number for pre-planning of funerals that we all should take care of, 436-5636. That number again, 436-5636. Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. And Joel Heward also serving you and your family at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. Really nice people. Want to remind you, too, oh, my goodness sakes, talk about nice people. I've got to jump right on in here and do a whole bunch of bragging. And it's not bragging when it's true. And it's true. Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner, 611 North Overland in Burley. And we just had a wonderful time over there last week as they had the tables and chairs set up out in front and my lunch bunch. There's about 40 of us, pretty close to 40, just sitting out there enjoying the sunshine. And they had prizes, and along with the delicious food and really nice people serving all of us. Great menu choices, breakfast, lunch, dinner, desserts, anytime, all the time at America's Diner. Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley. You stop in and see those great folks today. Holy moly, she is waiting in the outside hallway, ready to open the studio door, walk in, and ladies and gentlemen, here she is, the president and CEO of the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce, Penny Main.
Are you president of my fan club? Because it kind of sounds like it there.
Yes, and all the dues that are coming in, I appreciate.
Yeah, sorry about the delayed payment.
Okay.
I meant to send you a check, but I did forget about that. So anyway, it is a great day to be in business in Mini-Cassia. Just looking out my window here, and although it's a little cloudy, the snake looks like glass, and they're getting ready for the Idaho Regatta. Again, which kicks off today. I know the show and shine is over in Rupert at about 6 o'clock, and then they'll be racing boats all weekend long, so we're looking forward to that. I was talking to someone yesterday, and they have about 63 boats, I guess, so far lined up for the races. So that's good news. Anyway, we're looking forward to that. We're just hoping, and I know, like you, Zeb, that everybody's kind of got their doors open again and they're ready to turn the lights back on and do what it is we all try to do best, which is business, and we're ready to do that. A couple of things really important to the Chamber. As many of you know, our golf scramble, which was actually set for last week, the 17th, was not canceled, but postponed until September 2nd due to COVID-19. So we're in the middle of that. Gosh, we've had great response. For those of you who have responded for teams and sponsorships, bless your hearts. We are so grateful. It's set for September 2nd. We do have some opportunities still available. So if you're interested in being part of that great event, and I know it'll be lots of fun September 2nd, just give us a call here at the Chamber, 679-4793. And as you mentioned, yeah, right, what happened to the first 6 months of this year? That's what I want to know. I think we're all still in kind of a bit of a fog, at least I am, that's for sure.
I just feel like right now it was yesterday when I opened up one of the most ugly fruitcakes at Christmas time I ever received.
Isn't that so true? I know exactly what you mean. I was just talking to Tracy Bell yesterday, who's from ISU Credit Union here in Twin Falls, and we happened to meet in Stokes Food Center late last night, and we were talking, and all of a sudden we're going, how did that happen? Where did the first 6 months of this year go? I know it's so true, but the good news is it is the 4th of July, and RupertForth.com, that's Rupert4, the number, .com, head there for all of the schedules and all the happenings starting next week with the Rupert Forth celebration. I know a lot of people are looking forward to that, and I think everybody's just ready to celebrate this great country, and by golly, now more than ever we need to be doing that, right?
Amen.
I know you would agree to that.
Amen.
There's also a full schedule on our website as well, minicashchamber.com. Other great things coming up. I'll just mention them quickly again. As you know, we support all of our chamber members, so these folks we're mentioning are all part of the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce, which we're grateful for. Project Mutual's telephone annual customer appreciation luncheon is on Monday, the 29th, from 11:30 to 1. That'll be a great time, kind of kicks off the Rupert Forth over there. We've got some ribbon cuttings coming up, which is great news. Friends of DeMary, July 1st, Minidoka Memorial Hospital, July 17th. There's a golf scramble getting ready for the Mini-Cassia Sheriff's K-9 unit. Those folks are needing some extra money to support their K-9 operation at Minidoka County Sheriff's Department. That will be held July 24th. And our good folks and our good friends at the VFW, I know you know them well, the Veterans of Foreign War, they're always doing great things here in the area to support local veterans. They're hosting their golf scramble on the 19th of September. And again, you can find all of this information typically every Monday on our Monday Motivator e-blast. And if you do not receive that, you're welcome to be part of that. We send out close to 800 of those every Monday morning, an update of what's going on in the area and things that are happening with the Chamber of Commerce. Again, 679-4793. We are open. We're seeing visitors now, so that's been good for us. You know, it's a little quiet, and we kind of anticipated that. But what we are seeing are a lot of people RVing and traveling in that regard, and so that's good news. People are getting out and moving and having lots of fun. So we're open here typically Monday through Friday from 9 to 5, and we'd love to see you. So that's our update for this week. We've got a lot going on, but we're excited about getting life back rocking and rolling.
Absolutely. By the way, I was just going to mention, I wonder if it's feasible or even possible on one of our interviews in the future, if maybe you went over to the parking lot area and found someone from New Mexico or Massachusetts or Rhode Island, and they'd consent to doing maybe a 2 or 3 minute interview on the program in this segment about how nice this area is.
Well, I think that's a great idea. Let's talk about the the specifics of that, because I think we could make that happen. We are so blessed in this area, and when people get here, they love it here. And interestingly enough, and to no surprise, we have probably prepared more relocation packets for people in the last 30 days than we have since I've been here, which is over a year now.
Holy smokes.
So people are, without getting political here, but people are weary of the things they see happening in a lot of the areas which they live, which is obviously out of the state of Idaho. And so I think what we're seeing is a really surge of folks who are ready to relocate and get back to, good old-fashioned living and a much easier, more comfortable lifestyle. And so I think it's really interesting. I've thought about this a lot recently, and I just think people are ready to relocate and again, get back to common ground.
Yep.
Well, enough said. But, yeah, it's really, really fascinating. So let's work on the dynamics of that, because I bet I could make that happen.
Well, I'm sure you can. Penny, you know, of course, that you have kind of prolonged the agony. It is time for...
Something else we could talk about?
No. It is time for the trivia question of the week, and I know you're going to slam dunk this. You're just going to be like a 6'9" power forward driving this through the hoop with the answer. Are you ready?
Now, just remember one thing.
Yeah.
You did earlier when we started this interview this morning state that you were kind of the president of my fan club. So remember, part of this reflection is on you as well.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, maybe I shouldn't say then that you're still only 7-9, 7 right, 9 wrong. Here's the easy question. I know you're going to get this. What small town in Texas, it's so small, I mean it's really small, did Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings sing about and create a major hit record?
Lukenbach, Texas.
I told you could do it!
When you're talking about Waylon and Willie, man, I got those. That's my thing. You know what I'm saying?
Me too. So, did you know all the history?
9-8.
Did you know all the history about Lukenbach?
I do not know all the history, just a dab.
I tell you, I pulled it up because I was interested in it. I've been through that area, and if you blink, man, you got to turn around and go back.
Right.
And Lukenbach was named after a German, Albert Lukenbach, that came here from the old country, and it was nothing more than a little wide spot in the road, and all of a sudden some people decided they were going to have some fun with it, and they bought the town. They bought the town location, and then, of course, they started having all these country music festivals, and Willie and Waylon and Jerry Jeff Walker and all of these guys, and I'll tell you what, if you want to have fun, go there on the 4th of July, sit back, and get ready to rock and roll. It is great.
You know, they don't make them like they used to. That's for darn sure. Those are the good old days. Boy, howdy, I'll tell you that.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so what is the score again? I think it's 9-8, right?
You've messed up on 9, but you have retrieved yourself on 8.
So what does that mean? What is the score exactly?
8-9.
So... Okay, so I'm still down by 1. Is that right?
Yeah, unfortunately, it just looks like you're never going to get above 500.
Well, let me work on it. We'll see. My odds are pretty good because I've blessed 2 times, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna give you another softball next week, but then after that, it's going to go back to hardball right down the middle. Hit it or not.
Okay, just talk about country music and those kinds of things. I'm really good at that.
You got it. I will. I'll stick with that vein.
All right. Have a great day, friend. Thanks for all that you do. I appreciate you so much, and happy 4th of July. You guys stay safe out there and be nice to your neighbors.
I love it. Thank you very much, Penny Main, CEO and president of the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. I'm running a little bit over. I know old Nick's sitting there chomping on the bit. I'll be right with you, Nick. Hey, don't forget, let's ride 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. Oh, yeah. Get out of Dodge City or anywhere. Head for the hills on a side-by-side or a four-wheeler from Let's Ride. They've got a showroom packed with fun. Oh, my goodness. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 2. And the number to call, 436-4771. Located at 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World with all the accessories you need. And, of course, a super service department to keep you running. All of this at Let's Ride. It's true. where the fun is sold. And don't forget, too, over in that same neck of the woods or that part of the desert, Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits. They are there to serve you. Todd, I'm telling you, he is A1 service. They really help you. The whole outfit, Cameron and Siemens Insurance, dedicated to your needs. Call them, 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Holy moly, Nick Greenwell with, of course, Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation and Elite Fitness. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
It is. Mr. Rogers is going to take off his sweater and put on the tennis runners.
Yes, sir.
Well, okay, let's talk a little bit. Here you are, kind of the Solomon of two businesses, Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. I want to start there. Now, you've got a staff of people that really went through a lot of education to be a physical therapist. Tell us a little bit about your staff.
You bet. Yeah, I'm super proud of my staff here at Burley PT and at Elite, but specifically about Burley PT, it's a considerable amount of training. We're about between 7.5 and 8 years to be a physical therapist, and then a good 4 to be a physical therapy assistant. And not only do we have plenty of those, they have a lot of experience. I've been here for over 21 years, and it seems like forever. And I have a lot of gray hair, and I can't remember anything. And what else? But we actually have my son Josh just joined the staff about a year ago. He's got a doctorate in PT out of Arkansas State. He's here doing great things. And, you know, it's kind of a nice mesh point between having an old guy like me that went to school forever ago and having somebody just having come out. So, you know, we both have our strong points, and we can both kind of help each other on the stuff that's in the middle, being, you know, new research and new techniques and new equipment and all that kind of stuff that he was trained with. And sometimes when all things go to hell, as we know, and we can't rely on current technology and this and that, we have the old school ways that I was trained in, and it just seems to work really well to kind of fill in the holes.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Let me interrupt you there for a minute. You said the old way that you were trained in versus the new way. It sounds to me like what you're saying is there's so many innovations almost daily, monthly, or yearly in physical therapy that it's really, you got to keep up on everything.
Absolutely. And we try and go above and beyond. The state of Idaho requires a certain number of continuing education units per year to maintain your license. And our motto here is more is better of education and training and hands-on things like that. And so me personally, I usually require double that. And so we send our staff members to training seminars and classes and new technique websites and all kinds of stuff at least twice of what we're actually required by the state of Idaho. And so we feel like we're pretty proactive even on the cutting edge of new research and tools and techniques. We just bought a new light reaction training system that we've implemented both here at the gym this past week, and we're seeing tons of success with that, and it's something that patients really get engaged with, and is very measurable, right? And we know that we can do 10 reps one day, and the next time they come in, maybe they do 12 or 15, and the reaction time is better. And so it's objective. It's something that we can see and that we can send to an insurance company or a doctor that says, you know what? When Mrs. So-and-so came in on day one, here's where she was in black and white, and now here's where she is in black and white. And that maybe that gives the insurance company enough information to allow them to continue to come to physical therapy for a little bit longer and have it covered and not out of their own pocket. Or maybe we've reached our goal, our end point, and we know that, and we can discharge them to a home program or send them down to Elite for a maintenance program.
I have a question that I have not asked you in the past, I don't think. As we age, unfortunately, it seems like our balance is diminished. Now, why is that? I mean, what is the primary cause of a diminishment in balance?
You know, balance is something that we work on tons here, tons, both here and down the road. Balance is a compilation of several things, and we know that about a third of our balance comes from our vision, And so as our vision diminishes, our balance diminishes. Just with age, it's an age-related change. Mine's the same way. We have our vestibular system, which also contributes about a third. And so that's like the fluid in your inner ears and the semicircular canals and all that deep sensory system. And then we have a third system that contributes another third of our balance called the somatosensory system. And that deals with proprioceptors and receptors that live in our joints, particularly in our ankles, knees, and hips for balance. And they rely on information from our brain to send signals to and from those areas to tell us where we are positioned in space without having to look at them, right? We can't walk around looking at our feet all day. And so we rely on those things. And so as we age, we know that we have joint problems and we have issues with arthritis and things like that, degenerative changes, and that impacts that somatosensory system. And again, our vision decreases with age. Vestibular system is the system that usually diminishes the least as we get older, but we're already losing 2/3 with age, and so we know that those things contribute. And then along with decreased strength, we know it's harder to build strength and maintain strength as we get older, and our testosterone changes, and all of those hormones are different as we age. And so it's really a big compilation of things that kind of happens as we're getting up there in years and progressing, and so it's super important that we do what we can to try and stimulate those systems in a low impact and non-damaging or degenerative way to help maintain that balance. And so we work on that a lot here, and we have a specific class over at Elite called Silver and Fit that really works on those particular systems with our aging folks to keep them from falling.
Did you say somatosensory?
Somatosensory, yes, sir.
Sensory. Do you realize, and you should, after all these years that we've known each other, you're talking to a redneck cowboy. Don't throw that at me.
So in a nutshell, it's vision, it's our inner ear system, right? And it's our joints. It's the sensors in our joints that receive and send information from our brain and muscles of where we're positioned. And
wow.
Things kind of start to go south as we age because of other related arthritis, joint changes, and things like that. So that was a huge, long answer to probably a more simple question, but I like to talk.
No, it was a great answer, and I'll tell you what, it just absolutely amplified the fact that you folks really know. You've got the education, you've got the wherewithal to help people get back to being themselves at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. The number to call, 678-1191. And real quick, Nick, 30-second spot for also the other business to help people really stay fit, Elite Fitness.
You bet. So Elite's doing well. We're getting better and better with meshing our businesses as time goes on. I'm seeing patients down there for 2 full half days now. I have an office down there. We can really recreate about anything we can do down here at Elite with more room to move. I'm seeing a lot of folks that need a little more space down there. And we are just starting a spin class with our indoor cycling. We've got all kinds of MMA classes. And again, we're adding another day for our Silver and Fit. And our fighters, I told you we had a big fight last week on ESPN, and he won. And so he is getting invited back to fight again on the 14th. That's pretty fun. We've got 4 guys that are professional fighters, and they're training out of there and teaching a lot of MMA classes, and our classes are getting huge. It's really popular. It's a really fun way of getting in shape and staying in shape.
I tell you what, this guy has been a friend of mine for a long time, and he serves the public, and I guarantee you he has the knowledge and the people skills and the personnel to help you at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation and Elite Fitness. Nick Greenwell, God bless you, man. Thanks so much.
You too. Take care, Zeb.
All right, my friend. Excellent. I mean, like I said, it's hard to believe that he's been doing this for over almost 22 years. Unbelievable. I want to remind you, too, about all the different sponsors that want you to come on over and be a part of the Rupert 4th of July celebration, like Haskins Insurance Service, 629 Fremont Street in Rupert. Oh, my, yes. They want to thank all their customers for their business over the past 20 years. And don't forget, they are your partner and insurance protection at Haskin Insurance Service, 629 Fremont Street in Rupert, and the number 436-4141. 1. Dixon Oil Company, 602 South 2nd in Rupert. My goodness, they've been in business since 1951, and they know how to give you the best possible service. Absolutely. All the gas, the oil, the propane. Daryl and the crew at Dixon Oil wish you a very safe, sane, and happy 4th of July. Haruza Insurance, 723 South 3rd Street in Rupert. David Haruza and the rest of the folks say, don't forget, protect what matters most to you with Haruza Insurance. And go to realwealthmedia.com, Haruza Insurance, and they can help you at Haruza Insurance in Rupert. Last but not least, Snyder Surplus Incorporated, 116 South, 200 West of Rupert. And really, it's the truth to sum up their business. Every single day at Snyder Surplus is a treasure hunt. You're going to find everything from ponchos to wool blankets to hats to boots to weapons, you name it. And they even got military cargo trailers. Holy smokes, all of this at Snyder Surplus, 116 South, 200 West of Rupert. And they wish you a very happy 4th of July. Holy smokes. Before we take our guest on the air, I also want to acknowledge another business that absolutely is serving you with the best of electronics, whether it's the home theater systems, video surveillance cameras, car stereos and speakers, complete sound systems, and all the TVs from Samsung, Sony, Toshiba, LG TVs. Holy moly, who am I talking about? Patterson's Electronics at 421 East Main in Burley. Curtis and Lorena are there every day, Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6, serving you. If you have questions, give them a call, 678-6997. Don't forget, for the best in all the electronics that you need, Patterson's Electronics, 421 East Main in Burley. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to the phone line, and I do not believe that I have had this gentleman on my program before, so we're going to say a good morning to him, the president of Doug Hansen Performance Group, Doug Hansen himself. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. Thank you so much. I'm blessed and highly favored.
Well, I'll tell you what, I feel like I'm in your part of the world, man. I feel the same way. Tell us a little bit about Doug Hansen and your performance group. What do you do? What's a day in the life like?
Well, I basically help people and the organizations they work for become greater. I help leaders connect with their people and help the employees connect with their leaders and just help the whole organization improve along the way.
We could stand a lot more of your performance group in America today. What about the status?
For sure. It's a blessing to get to work with people that, are across all kinds of different industries. And so it's really a lot of fun.
Well, basically when you say you're going to go in and help them, etc., what basically from A to Z is offered and also suggested to these businesses to better serve their area or their niche? I mean, what do you do?
Well, at the end of the day, your best laid plans are only as good as the people executing them, right? You could have the best plans in the world, but if you don't have people that care or people that are talented or people that are engaged, then it's not going to work. And likewise, you could have great people and not have a good plan. So they work together. But the biggest problem for most companies is getting employees to really care, to be engaged and enjoy their job, especially after something like this COVID-19. We have a lot of employees, 40 million people were unemployed at one point, and that's a lot of people that were labeled non-essential. And so now as they're coming back to the workforce, a lot of them, there's trust issues. They're disengaged because they're like, when's the next hammer going to fall? So it's a challenge for everybody because, of course, it's better for everyone if the employees are engaged and they trust their leaders and they enjoy their job and they're respected and treated with dignity and all that. It's better for everyone. But it's just hard to find that mix in today's world with there's so much change going on.
Doug, I'm going to throw this at you, and if you don't agree with me, please feel free to arbitrate with me because I've got big shoulders. I'm just going to come right out and say that we had better do something starting now in the elementary school grades going all the way up to the university system to re-implement and reinstall a good work ethic in America. We don't have people that really want to go to work. Would you agree or disagree?
100% agree. I have 4 kids that are all the millennial age group, and even my own kids, I think, struggle a little bit with it. But yeah, my wife's a high school teacher, and I have several friends that teach at different levels, and all of them are in agreement that there's just a different attitude about work in today's world, and also about service. I was a waiter in college, and I was never ashamed to be a waiter. I loved it. I loved serving people. I loved the concept of, treating someone with respect and getting, making their night, helping them have a good evening, and getting a little tip in return. There was never a time in my life I was ashamed of that. And a lot of young people today just, they're like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be serving other people. And so it's not just work ethic; it's an attitude that we have to address.
But the attitude, Doug, has been permeated by the government itself, saying, well, here, take your tin cup and go stand on the corner. We will feed you. We will clothe you. We will give you an income. We'll let you stay home and eat bonbons and watch television. That's got to change. We've got to stop this.
Absolutely. Right now, there are people that are trying to hire some employees. I just heard a story yesterday with the young man that was offered the job. He could make more money staying at home on the government programs right now because of all the stuff happening with COVID-19. He was like, why would I want to go to work? And of course, my attitude is for the self-esteem of it. Even if you just broke even, you're learning something, you're developing your skills, you're meeting people, you're developing your network. I mean, it makes sense. But you can also see where if the government makes it easy for people to stay home, they're going to stay home most of the time.
My concern is with this COVID-19. Okay, now I'm going to really show my political feelings on this. I don't think we should have ever shut down in the first place. We could have gone with a regulated plan of the face masks, the hand cleansers, the distancing, everything, and not shut down our economy. But boy, I don't think we can take another hit financially like we did from March all the way until a couple of weeks ago. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously, if you're someone that has a relative that has passed away or that suffered from the COVID-19, it sounds insensitive to say otherwise, but I'm with you. I personally, the mortality rate absolutely did not correlate with the reaction we had in the marketplace. I mean, I think what we're doing to our economy and to just to people's well-being is going to be way more of an impact than the 19 itself. And, of course, the elderly were the ones that were really at risk in the beginning. And now they're saying younger people are starting to get it. But younger people aren't dying from it more or anything. So they keep posting the number of cases that were identified. But there's probably a lot of cases of athlete's foot, too, right? And no one's dying from athlete's foot, so they're not dying from the COVID-19 for the most part either.
Right.
So, yeah, I agree with you 100%. I don't think we should have shut it down. And I live in Texas where where I live, there's really right now you can go to anything you could do before, other than a movie theater, but restaurants and everything are pretty much open, and all the stores are open, so it's no different. But I have friends that live in other places, and it's still it's almost complete shutdown.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense, because what if here I'm doing all this, and people in Texas were doing all this stuff, and then what if we drive to another state where it's all shut down? I'm going to be around people, so it just doesn't make sense. This whole thing we're doing.
Absolutely.
It's very obvious that in certain cities they lean one way, and other cities the government leans the other way, and so we're completely different courses of action.
Absolutely. We have a caller with a question or a comment. Go ahead, caller. Please, you're on the air. Please.
Yes, I have friends that own a nursery landscape company, and they had to lay off several of their employees because they just didn't have the business. And so when I was talking to them yesterday, they said it's so unfair the way the system worked. These people that were laid off are drawing unemployment at $600 a month from the government, and they're not making, the other employees are not making that much when they're working. And there's something got to be fixed there.
All right. Well, thank you, caller, very much. And respond to the caller, if you would, again, Doug, on that subject we were talking about.
Yeah, it's just sad, isn't it? I mean, it's totally unnecessary. From my perspective and what I've experienced, I think it's just sad that there are people that are in his position or his friend's position that say want to work, and there should be plenty of work out there, but because government rules and changes, people are basically told, no, you have to stay home, and no, we're only going to pay you this much in unemployment, which, to be honest, that can't go on forever either. I mean, unemployment unemployment insurance is basically what it is, but if no one's paying in, that's going to eventually go dry.
Doug,
I know it's just a sad situation for everybody involved. I just hope they realize it, and like you said, we can't have another wave of shutdowns. There's no way we can absorb that.
Yeah, I want to just kind of paint a little scenario here and see if you agree with me. When you have people in politics, and Sean, I've got a little feedback on the line here, if you would, please. When you have people in politics like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and she seems to be very committed to a non-working society and everybody on government dependence. She has no idea, like in agriculture, from the field to the plate, what kind of network of transportation and all the work that goes into it. How do you overcome that and try to tell people there's still a lot of work ethic involved and a lot of opportunity to make a good living?
Yeah, it's a challenge, is all I can say, and it's all about culture, right? Every city and state and even a family has its own culture, but anytime a group of people come together, there's a culture, and there is a movement out there, a culture within the United States that promotes people being, basically needing the government, and they think it's a good thing. They sell it to them as a good thing, but the truth is, once someone becomes, it's like crack cocaine. Once they become addicted to getting the free handout, it's really hard to get off that, and it's especially when if they haven't worked in a while, they don't have any skills, right? So the jobs they would get are very low skilled, which are low paying, and therefore they usually are less than what they'd get on unemployment. So that we're back to where I said a while ago, they're just going to stay on the dole. So it's just it's a myth, and it's all about control. I really believe once you own somebody's health care, you control them. If you're putting food on their plate, you control them. So it's all about getting control and having power.
Let me ask you, do you and your group, the performance group, do you go into schools and talk to schools in class assemblies and try to get these kids stimulated that there is a great opportunity here in the United States with a work ethic? You can succeed with the talent that God gave you. Do you go in and tell these kids that?
When I've been speaking for 25 years, of course right now there's no gatherings happening, but my first 20 years of speaking, I never did that. I never had to do that message. It was never in demand. And in the last 5 years, I've had more and more and more schools and churches and different groups wanting me to speak to the young people about, because I have a message about what I call play full out. And the message starts with personal, like, hey, if you want a great marriage, you don't do just enough in your marriage to keep it alive. You play full out. You be romantic. You do the things that your spouse appreciates, or your girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever. Same thing if you're a parent. Don't just go through the motions. Play full out, and that message is now carried over into these young people. Is like, hey, the best way to advance in life is to play full out in whatever job you're doing, and no matter what you're doing, if you're serving people in some way or you're doing a job, it has dignity, and it should be performed with excellence. And then when you do things that are excellent, then it carries over, and people want to hire you to do other things, and you get more and more skills, and before you know it, this concept of playing full out is taking you to a place you'd never, ever experienced before, ever dreamed you could do. So that message or that speech or that whole program has been more and more in demand in the last 5 years, because I think a lot of people are recognizing what you're talking about.
Absolutely. We have another caller with a comment. Go ahead, caller, please. You're on the air.
See, if we don't get these young people informed and educated properly, they think that they're going to be able to go out and pursue the American dream or rely on it because somebody else is, making it happen. Either way, and get a job from them. Either way, we're going to lose this thing. And the children, if they know better, if they're informed and they realize the reality of it, and they have been misinformed or lied to, they will know better. But you say to yourself, is it going down or up? Are the young people going to be becoming more aware or not? and it makes you wonder. I'll hang up. Thank you.
Respond to the caller quickly, if you would, please, Doug.
Well, yeah, I think he's definitely right, and that, especially in the university setting. I mean, the university setting when I grew up was a place where every point of view was respected and appreciated. That was the whole concept of a university, was a think tank of different ideas and getting a broad education. Nowadays, it's just a brainwashing facility. And, I mean, my kids are conservative kids, and they literally got beat down if they ever brought up a point of view other than basically the liberal, progressive, socialism type thing. If they didn't buy into that, they were chastised and ostracized, and I mean, it's just so they learned to just keep their mouth shut and get their degree and get out of there. If I had it all to go over, I wouldn't have sent my kids to universities. I would have sent them to trade schools to learn a trade, because most of these kids come out of these universities expecting to make $100,000 a year. Of course, some of them are super talented and they can get those jobs right out of college, but that's the minority. Most of the kids, like when I got out of college, I didn't expect to make a big paycheck. I expected to get an entry-level job that paid decent, but that would give me an opportunity to work and develop skills and get experience and then move up the ladder. And that's exactly what happened. But today's young people are being, brainwashed that you should make $100,000 a year or the government should provide everything you need.
Absolutely. Yep. Doug, let me ask you this. What part of Texas are you in?
I'm in a little town called Katy, Texas. It's west of Houston.
I know exactly where it is.
Here, Roger Clemens and me.
I know exactly where it is. I've got a lot of cowboy friends of mine in the rodeo business that are down in that area, so I know exactly where it is. Listen, I want to tell you how much I appreciate. I'm sorry. Go ahead. We had a little delay on the line here. I didn't hear what you said.
I said, yes, 30 miles west of Houston.
Absolutely. I want to tell you how much I appreciated our conversation this morning, Doug, and I certainly hope you'll consent to coming back in the future. The president of Doug Hansen Performance Group, Doug Hansen. God bless you, man. Have a wonderful summer, and thank you for coming on the program.
God bless you, too, and for what you're doing. Thank you for all your service, man. You're doing a great job for our country.
Thank you, sir. Very interesting gentleman, and I'm glad we had him scheduled on the program, Doug Hansen, and he helps people and organizations become even greater. Get a good attitude. Do all you can. Use the assets that God gave you, and do everything you want to do, and even better. There you go. Let's see, what have I got? Oh, the weather forecast. Holy smokes, I almost forgot about that this morning. We've got to get right back into it with our friends, the professionals. Phillips Oakes, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. Yes, they are the professionals, providing accounting services to the Mini-Cassia area for well over 50 years. I mean, they're there to serve you, your family, your business. Tax return preparation, tax planning, business consulting, bookkeeping services, retirement planning. We started with them, I think it's been 5 or 6 years ago, and I'm telling you what, we have not at all been at all worried about it, because they do a tremendous job. As a matter of fact, they've alleviated our worries and helped us so much. These people are the professionals. Phillips Oakes, Goodwin, Crane, and Company, with offices in Burley and Rupert. You get a hold of them today. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Cooler temperatures for today, but of course back up into the 90s for the weekend. Here's a look at your weather forecast. Partly to mostly sunny skies by the time we hit the afternoon. High of 83, a little bit of a breeze out of the west at about 10 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly clear skies with a low of 55. Tomorrow, sunny and 88. Clear and 57 for Friday night. By the time we hit Saturday, going to be back up into the 90s. Slight chance of rain, showers, and thunderstorms for Saturday night. Mostly cloudy with a low of 56. Sunday, 20% chance of showers in the afternoon, cooling down to about 76. And then for Monday, slight chance of rain, showers, and a high of only 62. That's look at your weather for Zeb at the Range.
Thank you much. Thank you much, Gina, for our weather forecast. Always does a great job. And, of course, the professionals sponsoring our weather this half hour. And that's with Phillips Oakes, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. Yes, they have 2 locations, 1710 Overland Avenue in Burley and 620 5th Street in Rupert. And they can help you. Please give them a call. Make an appointment. Phillips Oakes, Goodwin, Crane, and Company. Let's see what else have I got cooking here. There is, and something I'm very worried about, before we go to starving to death, I want to mention this. There is a book out that is hitting the bookshelves, and businesses and schools are making it mandatory reading. This shows you something to be very aware of, and I want to emphasize this. It's a book called White Fragility. And the synopsis of the book I saw on television last night on the Tucker Carlson show, and it's very scary. Basically, the book is written, and it says that all white people are racist. The book is being pushed in schools and businesses to comply with an anti-white sentiment. The author is a woman by the name of Robin DiAngelo, and she promotes the book at speeches around the country to where she gets for 2 hours $15,000 by telling audiences that white people are bad and that white people should give part of their belongings, their property, their cars, their land, everything, to those that are considered minorities. This is hitting businesses, and HR departments are pushing it to their employees as part of an appeasement to Black Lives Matter. And then it was on the news last night that it's going into various school systems, and I want you to be aware of that title. If your child comes home and says, "Oh, we're reading a book about white fragility and how whites are all racist," this is really a major part of the problem with racism in America today. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. All right, let's see, coming up next hour, we're going to have Debbie Critchfield on the air with the Cassia County School Days, and then at 10:23, we're going to have Alan Johnson. I believe his title is that he's the vice president of the Rupert 4th of July celebration, and then at 10:30, and I really want to emphasize, you need to stop everything and listen to, at 10:30, Dr. Gerard Lamero. And Dr. Lamero, of course, has hit it right on the head with the last election and all the political prognostications and everything. And he's got a brand new book out called Real World Socialism. And I've read this book at least 5 times. And everything in that book is coming to fruition right now, and we as Americans had better wake up, smell the coffee, and stop this insanity. If you are hungry and starving to death right now, I know some great places for you to go and alleviate that hunger. How about let's start, first of all, over at the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley. Oh, my goodness sakes. They've got all the famous burgers, and they've got, of course, the famous Farmer Brown burger. That's my grandson's favorite, absolutely, with fries, sauce, a great big tasty milkshake of all the different flavors. My goodness, it's all there all the time at the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. Well, let's move on over to Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Holy smokes, this is a great place to get together for your morning coffee. Now, with your morning coffee, you realize that the best way to start off the day would be with a breakfast burrito. Listen to this: scrambled eggs, bacon and sausage, cheese, onions, tomatoes, sauce on a tortilla shell. It's good. It's good at Taco Bandito. All the menu choices delicious. Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Then we have two, not one, but just 2 of the Burgers Etc. locations. 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 Overland in Burley. They've got all the fish and the shrimp and the halibut baskets. Have one just for the halibut. And, of course, that was a bad joke. Don't forget, too, the corn dogs and the burritos, only $1 29, and they are such nice people over there at both locations, serving you with great food at Burgers Etc. in Rupert and Burley. And last but not least, and my old voice is wearing out on me, hold on. Try that again. And last but not least, that sounded better, Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 West of Heyburn. Food made the way you love it. And they've got those tasty steaks, tender fillets, ribeyes, sirloins, and that's, of course, thanks to the Double R Ranch for those great steaks. And when the weather's great, the patio's open, and they got live music on the weekends. Oh, my goodness. And really, really nice people serving you. Great food at Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 West of Heyburn. And those are just a few great places to go when you're hungry and starving to death. Wow. Next Monday, we are going to get into the transgender problem, and it is a problem, against girls' sports. Transgender males, and that's what they are, trying to become dominant in girls' sports. And I'm going to really put the hammer down on this next Monday, and it was on television last night. We've had many stories on it on this program, and we are not going to weaken. I absolutely am going to stand up for the girls, stand up for their right to compete without having transgender males stealing their thunder, their scholarships, and their awards and prizes, and we all should stand up. And I do thank Governor Little for signing into law those bills that are going to protect the girls. Girls need the Title IX protection to compete against each other and not transgender males. We're going to take a little break and send this back over to our main studio. And then when we come back, of course, it's going to be the Cache County School Days this week with Debbie Critchfield. And then also the interview with the Rupert 4th of July celebration, Alan Johnson. Don't go away. We will be back in about 7 minutes. I think of all the entry songs coming back after the news, I like that one the best with that piano music. Oh, man, I love that. Thank you very much, Zeb at the Ranch, hour number 3 on this Thursday, June 25th. And, of course, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. And they are all safe, clean environments with the best in tires. Stop in and see them today. Along with our friends at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Absolutely. And we want to give a great big shout out and a thank you to our friends over at Greystone Crossing, independent senior living at 1221 21st Street in Heyburn. Seniors living the good life with friends. Absolutely. A beautiful 12-bedroom home. Oh, my. 3 meals a day, snacks, housekeeping, and local transportation. And with the cooking of Kelly over there, I'm telling you, the people are smiling like Cheshire cats. It's beautiful. It's a wonderful place to live with your friends, seniors. Don't forget the name, Greystone Crossing. The telephone number to call, make an appointment to see the surroundings, 650-4979. 650-4979. Greystone Crossing, senior living at 1221 21st Street in Heyburn. And also want to give a shout out to some other folks that really have some great ideas on how to help yourself build your financial security and future. 7K medals with silver purchases purchased and sent right to your home. Absolutely. You can create your own security bank, and of course, it's also a valued treasure, a keepsake for your loved ones in the future. Please contact my friends Lon Hardy at 312-8699 or Sharon at 430-3259. Mention my name. They'll help you, I guarantee it. 7K medals and silver purchases. You call them today. All right? Let's go to the phone line right now, and with us, the Cassia County Schools Communications Officer, and she's got many, many titles, many, many hats, and here she is, the lovely Debbie Critchfield.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Enjoying the summer.
What was summer anyway? Can you believe it's June 25th already?
No. Talking about school coming back and looking at all of this, I hadn't connected some dots that it's 2 months away, as well as a number of other things. And so in some regard, it doesn't feel like we're getting much of a break, but these are different times.
Well, they are. Now, Debbie, in all seriousness, what is taking place, especially in the Cassia County school system? I mean, are things still up in the air, the what-ifs, the what-might-bes? I mean, give us kind of a clue as to what's going on.
Regarding opening for Cassia schools, the board discussed this a little bit at their board meeting last Thursday. Districts around the state are expecting and can expect some guidance to come from the state that will really emphasize local governance and the responsibilities and authorities of local trustees. In the midst of that, Dr. Shank reiterated that the goal is to have school, and the board wants to return as to the, whatever the normalcy looks like, as much as that can be achieved. And so in the coming weeks, they are assessing the academic needs, the physical needs of the buildings, and talking about what that may look like. But no, there's more to come with the current situation and so many changes. It feels like changes are happening so frequently. They have not got together in a way to say definitively this is what school is going to look like, other than, of course, sanitation and cleaning protocols and so forth. But they want to have a student-teacher connection and looking at what they can do. And so here in the next couple of weeks, we'll have more information out to the community. But school, they want to have school.
I would imagine, and of course I've never been in your field of endeavor, but I would imagine that it's kind of like spring training for baseball. You've got all summer to get ready, all spring to get ready for the opening day of the season, and then all summer and fall to play the game. Well, here you are, and you're waiting and waiting to see what's going to happen, what kind of mandates are out there, and time is drawing closer and closer, and that really makes a pressure cooker to get everything done, I would imagine.
Absolutely. I will share, and we'll have some more information as there's more to share on this. But one of the approaches that the school district is taking in light of just all of these moving parts and all that you've said is to develop an online school for Cassia students, to provide an option for parents. The majority of parents that we talk to are ready and want their students to return to the physical school. We have a percentage of parents who are unsure. They want to see what things look like in 2 months, and they may have, students may live with a grandparent or someone else who is, considered a more vulnerable person. And so Dr. Shank presented an idea to the board, and Mrs. Sandra Miller is charged with developing this further in these conversations about an online opportunity for students. You're still enrolled as a student at Cassia High School, but for some parents who may prefer to do everything online, it would be administered, managed, etc., all by Cassia employees, an opportunity for a student to make an appointment with a teacher or come into a lab as needed, and it would be staffed by local teachers. And so I think the creativity on thinking about how to address the different needs of our students so that people can see options within our own county.
Let me ask you this question. It sounds like academically you've got all the ducks in a row and ready to go, but also there's another aspect of education, and that's the extracurricular with the football, etc. What about those programs?
Oh, boy, that's one of the ducks that is not lined up very nicely. We don't know. And getting guidance and directives from the State Athletics Association, they also don't know. So as of right now, we see basketball teams that are putting on a camp or having summer basketball, and we've seen some baseball and some of these things in a more limited and controlled situation. But the talk of having, a traditional, what we would expect in the fall football game and those types of things, there hasn't been much said that, and I don't want to signal that it won't be the same, but honestly, there has not been a conversation anywhere in the state to say this is exactly what it's going to look like. And some of these things we just will adapt as it comes. And, I think that we have to be in a position to get comfortable not having every answer maybe until we get to that situation.
There's another piece of the puzzle that we don't talk about enough, I don't think, and that's the concerns of the teachers. Now, it's easy for us to sit here every week on this program and talk about the concerns for the students and the health of the students, etc., during this pandemic, but what about the teachers? Are they a little tentative about going back?
I think so. Again, if you're someone who has some chronic illness or other health risk factors that put you into a higher risk group, that's certainly one of the considerations that principals are working through. How do we accommodate for that? Teachers and employees sign contracts, and we are no different than other districts in the state that are grappling with how to address that. You've got a contract and an expectation that work will be done, but then there is also that element of making sure that you have a safe work environment. And as of now, district central administration is working through the physical nature of the school of, what do we need to do to ensure that some of these more higher risk faculty and staff feel safer. But ultimately, there is, again, that issue of a contract that work needs to be done.
I would imagine that many of you that are on the school board, when you have your meetings, etc., I'll bet you there's been times when everybody's just kind of sat back and said, oh, would we relish a return to normalcy? Do you think we'll ever see that again?
I have no idea. I don't see that happening until there's a vaccine, to be honest. I think that physical distancing is going to be a companion to every decision that's made until we have a vaccine. And you know this, Deb, because we've talked about this so much, even with a vaccine available, like we have vaccines available now, we're aware of people who will choose not to do that.
Yeah.
And so I think for the next year, 18 months, or however long it takes to get a vaccine, that we'll approach things a little bit differently. The goal is to try to provide that same type of environment where students feel not only physically safe but emotionally safe. And how do we do that until we know that there's, the science is there to help support some of that?
And, you're involved in education of our youngsters, and that segment of our society, I'll say this, correct me if you think I'm wrong, that segment of our society is going to be much harder to regulate and mandate. Thou shalt not get too close to each other. Thou shalt not sit together and talk to each other. I mean, it's a lot harder than kind of mandating that at a place of business where people can social distance and that type of thing. Kids are going to be kids.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think that you set a standard that you want students to be careful around each other and respect some of these things. But, I mean, we got to live in the real world. I mean, I don't know how you keep first graders from being first graders. And that's okay. And I'm not, and the local board has never promoted or suggested that there would be, physical distancing police of any kind. And so you have to expect that kids are going to be kids and people are people. And what can we do to set a baseline standard of, okay, here are some protocols of cleaning, washing hands, some of those other types of things. But we have to I mean, we've just got to be realistic to know we're not going to keep kids away from each other.
You know, I know this is speculative when I ask you this, but with all the involvement you have in education throughout the state of Idaho, do you feel as a mom and also as a person involved in state education that the government and private medical practices and science are doing enough to really try to solve the problem?
That's a tricky question. I think as far as, I'll use Idaho because that's what I know best. I think as far as Idaho government is concerned, they are doing everything that they can possibly do with the resources that they have. I have seen great examples of private industry that are also contributing to that. I think that there's a lot of, I mean, I feel the same anxiety to a degree when you hear and read conflicting information. Do this, no, you don't need to do this, and those types of things. And I've given it a pass to some degree on this because it's not anything that anyone knows. And so I would expect that as, you know, we've learned more in the last 3 months that we'll continue to build upon that. An issue that I think is a priority for districts and, frankly, for businesses right now is that of liability. Ultimately, a business, as you know, and a school, we can do absolutely everything within our power to control an environment in as much as someone can. And then ultimately, someone has to make their own decision and assess their own risk factors and say, okay, I am now going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to go to a water park or these types of things. What worries school districts around the state is this issue of liability. Can a district, can a business be sued? And will they be sued if someone were to come back and say, you know, I got sick or my family member got COVID because I came to your establishment or I came to your school?
Right.
And this is something that is being discussed in the government avenues. How do we protect people who have reasonably done everything that they can do, and then an individual makes a decision to participate or to be involved in something? Decisions look differently if I think I'm going to be sued over everything I do versus I'm indemnified in that sense that I'm going to make the decisions that work for me, and I'm not going to be worried about being sued.
Absolutely. Oh, what a mess. But we do appreciate the excellent job that you have done. Communications Officer for Cassia County Schools, Debbie Critchfield. I mean this. God bless you for all you do, Debbie. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
All right. Wonderful lady right there, Debbie Critchfield. We're very fortunate to have her in this area. I want to remind you, too, about Doug's Alternator and Starter Repair. It's for sale, and it may be for you. That's right, 635 21st Street in Heyburn. And the number to call, find out more, 878-4991. What a great business opportunity. It's a turnkey business opportunity. The shop's there, the equipment's there, everything's there. Doug's there. He'll teach the new buyer the business. Holy cow, you better get a hold of him. Find out more. Doug's Alternator and Starter Repair. For sale, maybe for you. 635 21st Street in Heyburn, 878-4991. Let's go to the phone line one more time. And we have with us the Vice President of the Rupert 4th of July celebration. And boy, do they know how to put on a celebration. Alan Johnson. How are you, Alan?
Hey, Zeb, nice to hear from you. How are you doing today?
I'm not too bad. I tell you what, first and foremost, I want to say I salute, and I mean this, you and your group for going ahead and having the Rupert 4th of July celebration. People literally have to get out and have some fun and enjoy their families and pay tribute to America, so thank you for what you're doing.
Oh, well, thanks for saying so, Zeb. We kind of postponed the decision until about the 1st of May, but we think that we want to respect everybody's opinion, on whether they would like to participate or not. But truthfully, we've had just an overwhelming support in our community for carrying on with this tradition.
Well, let's go quickly through everything, and basically it's going to be with the theme called Rockin' in the USA, and the Grand Marshals are going to be Charlie and Lori Creason. Tell us a little bit about your main sponsor and that Customer Appreciation Luncheon.
Right. Well, Project Mutual Telephone has been our main corporate sponsor for the last several years, and we certainly appreciate them helping us out. And they're actually kicking off the celebration week with an appreciation luncheon for all their customers. That's on Monday, June the 29th, right there by the PMT offices in Rupert, and that'll be going from 11 until 1:30.
Okay.
So that'll get us started, and we really do say thank you to PMT.
Absolutely. Then on Tuesday, June 30th, you're going to get out of bed at about 4:30 in the morning to make it over to the Christmas lighting breakfast on the Rupert Square, right?
Yes, sir. The breakfast will be around the Rupert Square, and as always, it gets underway at 6 a.m., runs till about 10 a.m., we're doing just a few things to make everybody feel more comfortable. We're going to be scattering the tables a little further and wider apart, and we'll have hand washing stations and hand sanitizer for everybody. But we think that everybody can spread out and enjoy that breakfast on the morning of June the 30th.
Absolutely. Now, I'm going to be going at a kind of a shotgun approach here, Alan, because we're going to have you back and talk about more of these events. But during the day, you're going to have that Magic Valley Area Humanitarian Center car show and night cruise. And then on Tuesday night at 7:30, when it gets dark, after the performer Jagertown, you're going to have fireworks. Tell us about that.
Yes, our entertainment gets underway Tuesday, and it'll run Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday, and Friday night. So we have 4 nights of entertainment in our city park. Local entertainment gets underway at 6 o'clock each evening, and then at 7:30 we have a feature band every night that we bring in, and we are really excited about this first band. Jagertown kicks it off on Tuesday, June the 30th. They're from southern Utah and actually have been living, traveling, and working through Nashville here the last year or so. And we feel really fortunate to have them come. And so they'll be at 7:30 Tuesday. And then at about 10 o'clock, 10:10 to be exact, the fireworks will launch from the sky right by the Rupert Fire Station. I tell people you can get about anywhere in Rupert. You don't particularly have to be right down in the park. You can see them from about anywhere, and those are put on by our volunteer Rupert Fire Department, and it is quite a spectacular event right over the top of the city park.
Absolutely. Wednesday, of course, patriotic programs. Thursday, more patriotic programs right there in the city park. And then at 6 p.m. on Thursday, the 3rd annual mutton busting at the county fairgrounds, correct?
Yes, sir. The mutton busting is a big favorite here in our community. That's Thursday night, July the 2nd, 6 o'clock. Tickets for that, if you have a family, 4 or more people, it's only $15 for a family ticket. Individual tickets are $5. And last I heard, they were still taking reservations. If people have kids that want to try to get into the mutton busting, they can get a hold of Cheryl Coyle at 431-5478.
All right. Friday, of course, July 3rd is one of the favorite events, and it's really, it's gone ballistic as far as popularity, and that's going to be at 6 p.m. also at the Minidoka County Fairgrounds, the Firecracker 500 Lawnmower Race. Real quick, tell us about that.
Yeah, this, as you know, the lawnmower races are kind of a thing unique to the Magic Valley. They actually run about 4 of those through our area here, and ours is the first one, Friday night, July the 3rd, 6 o'clock out at the Minidoka County Fairgrounds. The registration for those who want to get their mower racers in there at 4:30 p.m., and once again, family tickets for that event are $15, and individual tickets are $5. And if you need more racing information and want to get into that, you can contact Joe Phillips at
1563.
All right. And then, of course, I've got a minute left here. I want to feature the Saturday 4th of July parade, one of the best parades anywhere in the United States. Alan, tell us quickly about that.
Well, looking forward to this year, especially with all the different things going on in the country. It's going to be a great day to once again celebrate our independence. And our grand marshals for our parade are Charlie and Lori Creason. Charlie, owner of the Drift Inn establishment in Rupert with his wife Lori. And Charlie, very instrumental in the renaissance that happened in Rupert and the remodel of the Wilson Theater. But that parade gets underway at 11 a.m. And one thing to note this year, we've changed the parade route just a little bit. It'll form on Scott Avenue. And then you'll have to check Facebook or one of the web pages. There's a new route that'll actually extend about 10 blocks of space so people can spread out and enjoy the parade. It'll involve going around to Lincoln Park and then actually coming around backwards around the Rupert Square for the first time and finish out at the Rupert Hospital. So we hope everybody can come, spread out, have a nice day at the parade, and then get on with their family functions for the rest of the day.
I want to thank Alan Johnson, the Vice President of the Rupert 4th of July celebration, with the theme called Rockin' in the USA. Alan, I know you're going to be coming back in a few days. God bless you, man, and good luck over there at the 4th of July celebration.
Okay, thanks, Zeb, and thanks for always being a great supporter.
You betcha. I believe in it, and I believe in you folks. You do a great job. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. There, ladies and gentlemen, Alan Johnson on our program this morning talking about the Rupert 4th of July celebration. And I also want to quickly mention to you about our friends at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Oh, my. Yes, they're located at 459 Overland in Burley. And if you're looking for a great night's sleep, I know where you can find a great night's sleep with the Simmons Beauty Rest mattresses. They've got them all at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Oh, my goodness. Along with the mattresses, they've got all the recliners on sale. They've got, of course, sofas and love seats, and they've got all the flooring and the carpet. I mean, for the beautification and comfortization of your home, look no further than Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. They're waiting for you right now. Back over to our main studios. I'll be right back.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
My next guest I have the utmost respect for because he's a great human being and he's a fantastic political analyst. And his books are always so telling about the complexion of America. His latest book, Real World Socialism, and the subtitle, Spiritual, Moral, and Economic Bankruptcy, sold by using false hopes and deceit. This book is absolutely a playbook as to what's going on right now in America. I'd like everybody to really sit and listen to this great man, Dr. Gerard Lameiro. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Great, and great to be with you.
Dr. Lameiro, you got to help me a little bit. I'm really depressed, and you and I have talked many, many times off of the radio, and Sean at the station, I'm getting feedback cutting off the call here a little bit. We've talked many times off the radio and on about the status of where America is and where it's going. After all this recent violence and the looting and the burning and people sitting on television shows like last night and saying we're going to burn until we get what we want, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are they're teeing up one of the most historic elections in our history. I mean, literally, this election, based on what the left has demanded and where President Trump stands, and it's going to filter down not just the presidency but a lot of other elections, is going to be a battle between freedom and capitalism and our constitutional republic versus what the other guys want, which is socialism or communism, and certainly big government control of our lives. That is what we're talking about here. Are we going to go forward in America with our historical republic, with freedom and capitalism, or are we going to go along with the Democrats who want to become a socialist nation? I think it's going to turn out people that have not voted in their lifetimes because they know what's at stake. This is a big stakes election, and I think you're going to see a huge turnout, and it's going to reject socialism outright.
Dr. Lamero, again, Sean, the feedback, please, can you turn that down just a little bit for me? Appreciate it. Thank you. We are seeing more decadence in almost every city across the United States, whether it's Madison, Wisconsin, or whether it's Los Angeles, Seattle, Portland, whatever. And the threats that are going along with, like tonight, they escalate. They say that they're going to topple the Emancipation statue of Lincoln, and the National Guard's been called out. Correct me if you think I'm wrong, but we are going to have to bloody some noses. We are going to have to go in with force like a good spanking to a little child and let these people know they can't get away with this. Am I wrong, or should we just let this go on?
No, we can't let it go on. We can't live in chaos. We can't have people being killed. There are 900 police officers around the country that have been killed or injured. That's absurd. We have to take the law back. We have to take the streets back. And those who don't wish to obey the law need to be incarcerated. They need to be jailed. And if this is an outright revolution, which some of them seem to think it is, some say they want to get rid of Trump, and if he doesn't get resigned, they're going to go out and have more violence. That's called a revolution. They're trying to overthrow our government. We can't allow that to happen. We have to take action. And if the blue state mayors and the blue city mayors and the blue state governors refuse to uphold the law, we're going to have to basically depend on the federal government. We're going to have to send in the troops. Posse Comitatus says that federal agencies and federal troops don't normally fight inside the country, but there are laws that say that the president has to basically is the ultimate person responsible for maintaining law and order in the country. And if he needs to, he may have to take out the troops, and we cannot permit a revolution to go on. These people, a lot of them want a revolution.
Dr. Lamero, I want my grandsons to take a trip back east. I want my grandsons to be able to go down in the South. I want my grandsons and their families in the future to go all over this United States and absorb and learn about this nation and the historical figures that played a part in the growth of our country. Not all of them were perfect. As a matter of fact, none of them were, nor are you or I. And I am sick and tired of seeing groups like Black Lives Matter and Antifa take over, destroy our heritage and our history. I just don't know what to do as a private citizen, but it's got to stop today.
Well, what private citizens have to do is they have to elect people that support the Constitution and support this country. Political leaders who allow this to happen, who wink, who nod, who allow buildings to get burned and looted, they have to lose their re-election. We cannot have them running the country. We've got to make sure that the only people we elect are people who support this country. And there are a lot of people who do not support it. I think they're a very vocal minority. Some of them are militant. But let's face it, Antifa was formed to destroy America. That's its purpose.
Absolutely.
And we have got to fight these organizations whose sole purpose is to cause anarchy. And, you know, they do that with a reason. You tear something down because you're trying to destroy it. And they want to destroy it and then build it up into a socialist or a communist nation. We don't want that, and we're going to have to basically put our feet down and elect people that are going to take action against them. We cannot allow the streets to go into chaos and anarchy.
Absolutely.
We can't allow that to happen.
We have a caller with a comment or a question. Good morning, caller. Quickly, you're on the air.
Well, whether or not it's Seattle or Washington State, whether or not these people will throw the mayor of Seattle out or the Governor Inslee out, you wonder how much bad does it have to be before they would do it. Okay, and then there's about Donald Trump sending in troops. There's talk that if he does it, that he runs the risk of something bad happening, a person dying. It doesn't matter how Antifa or Black Lives kill people. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that 900 police officers have lost their life. It only matters if Donald Trump sends in troops and then somebody gets hurt or killed, and then they can blame him. But you see, should he do it or not? And the polls, I know this is about Donald Trump's re-election. The polls in these states, these swing states, have Donald Trump down 14 points. I just can't believe it. I'm sorry. I know it's a lot, but I only get one shot here. I'll hang up.
Please respond to the caller, if you would, Dr. Lamero.
Well, first things I tell them, don't worry about the polls. They're not right. These are the same kind of polls that told us Hillary Clinton was a shoo-in in 2016, and we all know she lost. I remember talking on the TV and radio in 2016, 3 weeks before the election, and somebody says, how come you think Donald Trump's going to win? The ABC News latest poll says she's ahead by 18%. How do you think Trump is going to win and beat her? The answer is these polls are wrong. I wrote a book, More Great News for America. You could read about why polls are so far off these days. But they're off. What counts is the election. These people are trying to do this stuff to help influence the election. They think we're all going to be intimidated. We're all going to say, oh, give them what they want so they don't burn down our cities. Well, guess what? It's just the opposite. They're going to vote these guys out of office who are permitting the anarchists and these militant Marxists. They're Marxists, leftists, and socialism. They're going to basically vote them out of office. This is an election about whether or not we turn this country into a socialist country. People are going to say no with a big exclamation point.
Dr. Lamero, I am a Christian, and I'm very proud of it, and I will not take a step back for anyone regarding my Christianity and my faith. I absolutely am incensed by what happened with Black Lives Matter, Shaun King, the other evening, when he came out and said that statues of Jesus and churches should be torn down because they represent white supremacy. This is beyond the pale. I can't even respond with verbiage used on the radio as to how mad this makes me feel.
I totally understand. I totally agree with you. But let me tell you what this is about. Socialism was founded on atheism. They don't like the Christian church. They don't like Jewish folks. Why? Because religion puts God first and says that our rights come from God. These people say our rights come from the government. Religion gets in the way of atheism, who want to do whatever they please. So they're going to be against the Christian church. We should expect it. Socialism boils down to a quasi-religion. They don't believe socialism because it's worked and they've got proof. That you can't debate a socialist. They take all this on faith. They just believe it as faith. It's a religion to them. It's an atheistic religion. It's a religion without God. And that's why you can't expect them to support the Christian church. They're doing exactly who they are.
Where are the Democrats? Where are the Pelosi's, the Schumers, and others standing up and saying enough of this violence and this beating and this burning? Where are the Democrats, Dr. Lamero?
Well, they're supporting them tacitly, implicitly. They're supporting them by not opposing them, by allowing them. When we talk about a city that's been run by Democrats for 50 years and has a Democrat mayor who's allowing rioting and looting and fires and destruction and injury, they're allowing it. They're really not following their own, testimony when they put their hand on the Bible and say, I'm going to uphold the laws. They're not doing that. They're just allowing this to happen because they want power. They want Trump out. They're hoping this will help get Trump out.
Well, will it? I mean, is there a chance that there are enough of these members of BLM, Black Lives Matter, Antifa, and other crazies out there that we could see the election of Biden and his pathetic group of mayhem going into office in November?
Not by their numbers. They don't have the numbers at all. That's why they make such a fuss and why they have to threaten that if they don't get their way, they're going to riot and they're going to cause more destruction. They're threatening us. They're threatening us because they don't have the votes in the ballot box. But we can't allow that to happen. We have to uphold the law. We have to have our cities, our police forces, take back the streets. And if the leaders of these cities and these states don't do it, then they're allowing anarchy to take place, and they have to be taken out of office. They have to lose the next election when they're up for office, or they can be recalled. Some states, people do recalls. They simply cannot be allowed to run this country any longer because they are doing a terrible thing. You know, they started out with sanctuary cities. They say, we don't have to follow the law. We can allow rapists and murderers to stay who are illegal immigrants. We don't want to lose them. Why? Because they vote Democrat. So, but we cannot have that happen. They started with sanctuary cities. Now they're allowing rioting and anarchy and looting and all these things, injuries to police, bizarre stuff, taking over city blocks. You know, in Atlanta, they took over the blocks around the Wendy's, where there was an incident where somebody shot a taser at a police officer, and they shot back. And they've got Black Panthers with AKs standing around, taking over part of the Atlanta city, just like they're doing in Seattle. It's absurd.
Let me ask you this.
Americans need to vote these people out of office who allow anarchy to take place.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this. Can you explain to me and my audience why and how an organization that is a Marxist communist organization founded under those principles, Black Lives Matter, why are they respected even here in southern Idaho? There was a march a couple of weeks ago by younger people that were, I think, 150 strong or so, that were supporting Black Lives Matter. Do they have any kind of a clue as to what kind of a group they're supporting?
No. Most of them are stupid in the fact that they just simply don't know. They haven't taken the time to figure it out. But let's face it, the history is clear on where these organizations stand, and the leadership has even been on TV saying what they want and how they want to take down this country, take down Donald Trump, take down the Constitution. I mean, it's clear what they want. And if people go along with that knowing it, then they're plain stupid.
I want to revert back to what we started with, though. I mean, we're seeing and reading about so much insurrection around the country. And there was a woman that I heard about last night that wrote a book called White Fragility. Her name is Robin DiAngelo. And the entire book is basically saying that white people are all racist. You talk about stirring the pot and creating more of a division in our society. It seems like the left will do anything to create mayhem.
Absolutely. By the way, the reason why there is anarchy and this thing with George Floyd has gone all out of kilter and has taken on the violent aspects it has is because the left are trying to get this election. Believe it or not, back in the days of John McCain, when he ran against Obama, he got 4% of the black vote, only 4%. And usually Democrats running for president get close to 100%. John McCain got 4%. When Trump ran, he got 8% of black votes, and he won the election. That put him over the edge. Right now, Donald Trump has got 42% of the black vote, and they are worried because they know they can't even come close to Trump and touch him in an election. Why are the blacks supporting Trump? Because they've done well. They've gotten jobs, unprecedented, historical levels of economy and economic well-being that Trump has created. they know he's good for them. And you know what? The Democrats know they're losing their minority. They counted on the black vote for decades to get them elected to office. They're losing it. And you know what else? The black poor people who live in some of the worst areas of the country because it's poverty-stricken, inner city, whatever, you know, they're upset because they want the police to be there to protect them. Don't forget, if there's no police forces in these cities, who's going to get hurt?
That's right.
People in the inner cities. Look at Chicago. They had 100 deaths last weekend, over 100 deaths. 4 of them or 3 of them were children.
Do you
absurd?
Do you think
to allow that to happen? And we're not talking there about whites killing blacks. We're talking about blacks killing blacks.
That's right. That's right.
It's not racism at all. It's just plain lawlessness that they're permitting.
Doctor, I've only got about 3 minutes left maximum. Let me ask you this quick question. Do you think that the resurgence, supposedly, of the pandemic, the coronavirus, will play a big part in the election, or what do you think's going on here?
Well, it's playing a part right now. It's giving Trump more votes. It's giving the red state governors, the red state mayors more votes, too. They're mostly blue state governors and blue state city mayors that are shutting things down. The Democrats want to shut things down. AOC had a tweet yesterday. I don't know if you saw it. She had a tweet, AOC, and she said, blue state governors, keep the lockdown going. If the lockdown stops, Trump may win. So that's what they're thinking.
Yeah.
They're trying to influence but the bottom line is Americans are the opposite. They're smart, and they know what they're doing. They know the Democrats are doing this for political purposes. They're mad. You know, in Michigan, you can't buy tomato seeds. That's supposed to be one of the things that's outlawed. They came out with all these bizarre rules. What's the matter with a tomato seed? Can anybody tell me what that has to do with a virus?
I chuckled because it's so ridiculous. Ladies and gentlemen.
Well, you know what? The voters know it, too. And these people, that governor in Michigan will never get reelected.
Absolutely.
She's finished politically. Because the voters know she's absolutely off the deep end.
Ladies and
buy tomato seeds in Michigan. That's ridiculous.
Absolutely is. Ladies and gentlemen, the gentleman I'm talking to is Dr. Gerard Lameiro and his book. And I've got to tell you, you've got to get this book, folks. It's an easy-to-read book with all the strategies that the left are trying to employ to take over our country. And he wrote this book quite some time ago, and it is coming to fruition. We've got to stop this madness. The book is called Real World Socialism, Spiritual, Moral, and Economic Bankruptcy Sold by Using False Hopes and Deceit. Dr. Gerard Lameiro, my dear friend. Quick personal note, how are you feeling, sir?
I am feeling terrific.
Well, God bless you.
Really well.
Well, God bless, and please come back soon. I would appreciate it.
Oh, I'm happy to come back.
All right, sir. God bless you. Thank you very much. Dr. Gerard Lameiro and his book, Real World Socialism. Excellent read. And like I said, you will not be unhappy at all for the money spent on this book. It's well worth it, believe me. Weather forecast right after I tell you about Edith's Cafe at 144 East Highway 81 in Burley. Oh, they're open Tuesday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Friday and Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. They do catering for your gatherings, your parties, maybe your graduation parties, whatever. Oh, they've got a wonderful, kind of a refurbished atmosphere right over there at Edith's Cafe. And they've got delicious meals. Oh, every day they've got certain specials. And, of course, don't forget all their delicious steak dinners, all their sandwiches, and a barbecued brisket sandwich to die for. It's good, really good eating at Edith's Cafe, 144 East Highway 81 in Burley. Number to call, 878-2248. Time for the weather And actually, it's past time for the weather. I'm running late. Scarrows Meats brings you the weather. Don Scarrow and the crew at 331 North Road, Jerome. And, of course, all your delicious meats, all your hams, all the different flavors of bacon and pork chops and all the bratwurst and the sausage. Oh, my goodness, it's delicious. And you can go to their website and find out all about what's available to you at scarrowsmeats.com. Don't forget, give them a call, 324-7657, Scarrows Meats in Jerome. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Cooler temperatures for today, but of course back up into the 90s for the weekend. Here's a look at your weather forecast. Partly to mostly sunny skies by the time we hit the afternoon, high of 83. A little bit of a breeze out of the west at about 10 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly clear skies with a low of 55. Tomorrow, sunny and 88. Clear and 57 for Friday night. By the time we hit Saturday, going to be back up into the 90s. Slight chance of rain, showers, and thunderstorms for Saturday night. Mostly cloudy with a low of 56. Sunday, 20% chance of showers in the afternoon, cooling down to about 76. And then for Monday, slight chance of rain, showers, and a high of only 62. That's a look at your weather for Zebit Duran.
Thank you, Gina. Right now, 72 degrees outside my studio, and the weather brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. They are changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. Got to run. I hope you and yours have a wonderful, safe weekend, and don't forget, we'll be back here Monday at 8:06 right here on KBAR 1230 AM and streaming live on the internet, zebbell.com, all over the nation. And don't forget, the way things were, the way things ought to be, and the 4 words that mean the most: in God we trust. Have a great weekend. Be careful.